Star Trek, so I originally watched this movie back in 2013 after seeing some of his other directorial and producer efforts. I wanted to finally give this movie a chance before the sequel came out, so I rented it from my school library, and I gotta say, at the time, I kind of loved it. I was actually amazed how much I liked it. Before this, I had never seen anything Star Trek related, unless you count Galaxy Quest, which I think you should, but I realize most people probably don't. But after seeing this, I marathoned all the other movies. I had varying opinions on them, from really good to, oh god, that was fucking terrible. And I have tried watching the shows, but I don't know, they were a little too slow for me. But going back to the 2009 movie, this was actually the first time I've seen it in years, and while it didn't quite get the holy shit experience I did back in 2013, I still think it's really good. It's the 23rd century, and a Federation ship is attacked by a species called the Romulans, led by Captain Nero, played by Eric Bana. Most people escape, but First Officer George Kirk, played by Chris Hemsworth in his feature film debut, sacrifices himself just as his son is born. Years later, that son has grown into James T. Kirk, played by Chris Pine. He's an egotistical, womanizing asshole who joins the Starfleet Academy, and it eventually leads him into the USS Enterprise, which is heading to the planet Vulcan, which is being threatened by Nero. So let's talk about the best thing this movie has to offer, the cast. Keep in mind, this movie is rebooting one of the most popular science fiction franchises of all time. These are iconic characters, and everyone associates them with the actors who originally played them. William Shatner as Kirk, Leonard Nimoy as Spock, DeForest Kelley as McCoy. Even me, who had never seen a single episode or movie before watching this, I knew who these characters are. So to have these new actors play them and not only do a great job, but sort of make them their own characters while still paying homage to the originals, it is masterwork. I actually had a friend who was a major Trekkie and he did not like this movie, but even he admitted that the cast was excellent. Chris Pine as Kirk is the right amount of cocky and stubborn, but still has a likable charm and is smart enough to back up his ego. Zachary Quinto is fantastic as Spock, managing to play a character with little emotion, but having a struggle between his human half and Vulcan half. Carl Urban as McCoy is just a blast. Zoe Saldana as Uhura is smart and determined, and pretty tough having to deal with Kirk's bullshit. Anton Yelchin and Simon Pegg as Chekhov and Scotty, you would swear they were specifically conceived to play these characters. The cast, fantastic. But I also do like the story. It's not an amazing story, and I know Star Trek is supposed to be more deep and sophisticated than a lot of sci-fi stuff, but the time travel is pretty clever, and Spock's conflict is kind of heartbreaking. And the villain is pretty good. His motivation is understandable, but I wanted him to be defeated. This movie does put a lot of emphasis on the action, and the action is really good. The scene where Kirk, Sulu, and a red shirt are free falling down to Vulcan is very exciting, and the space battles are a ton of fun. And the special effects really hold up. This is now 10 years old, and they still look fantastic. It's a pretty good mix of practical and CG, and I love the way it's directed. It has so much energy, it almost never feels boring. Now this is where Abrams' fetish for lens flare really started. They are everywhere. Some people like it, some hate it, some don't mind it. I'm in the camp that doesn't mind it. It never feels distracting, and it does make it feel more spacey. So yeah, for the most part, I really like this movie. However, there is one part I find disappointing, and that's the ending. It's not really bad, but it feels so underwhelming compared to everything we've seen before. I don't know if that's a popular opinion, but I just thought it was kind of meh. But I still think it's a really good movie. Great even. If nothing else, it made me interested in checking out the rest of the franchise. I give it an 8 out of 10. I know Trekkies are kind of mixed on it, with opinions all over the map, but I really like it. And he was even brought back to do the sequel 4 years later. How did that turn out? Well, we'll find out soon. But before that, we've got to get to Abrams' most original movie. It's not part of a franchise, but a passion project he made to homage one of his and my favorite filmmakers. See you then.